I forgot I was starting a stream. Oh no! Oh no, stream. I must, in fact, stream. You ever do that? Just start a task, completely forget what you were doing, and, and then, have a moment where you're like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Who who are you? Also, I just realized that I had missed I don't know if that came through. A new bunny picture redeemed yesterday. So let's get that going real quick. So oh my goodness. How many Mac notification noises can we really get going on this stream? Just to, Also, you know what? Let me, no one's here yet. Let me do something. I have, eight, like, fully eight, um, little, tabs in OBS just for audio. It would be great if I grouped those. If I made those kind of a bit slimmer. So I wasn't constantly navigating through even extra stuff. Every time I had to. What was I thinking of? Every time I had to go, toggle something. I know there's shortcuts and everything, but I'm lazy. I'm lazy. I don't want to set up shortcuts. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Oh my god. Well, there's Oswald. There he is. Oh my goodness. There he is. Look, framed so perfectly. Love the boy. Love the boy. Uh, it just was thinking of. Listen, it's just nice to have things organized. No one's here, so I'll probably turn that back on, at some point later down the line, but for right now, let's art. Let's art. No one's here. I can art to my heart's content. I can art. That, listen. First off, no one. I hope no one is out here. Lord forbid, no one better be out here disrespecting the true contributions to music that the Living Tombstone has made. If you have, maybe their stream isn't for you. Consider maybe we only like people with good taste. No. Well, so I'd probably talk about it a bit, but I am typically pretty interested into what makes a piece of media critically good. Not necessarily even by critic standards. I'm not talking like how can I jerk off the most people on Rotten Tomatoes. More so what I'm saying is what is something that most people can enjoy, they have at least a pleasant experience with, and then more so something that when you really break it down doesn't necessarily have any glaring flaws that make it kind of a lesser piece of media, that kind of water down whatever it's trying to do, I guess would be the better way of putting that last point. But man, the internet just loves to scream its opinions at each other. So with that in mind, don't listen. Don't listen to most people on the internet. I remember seeing something about Rotten Tomatoes not too long ago. Someone kind of, I don't want to say ragging on Rotten Tomatoes, but saying just like they mean nothing. These hollow tomatoes are nothing. Um, but on the other hand, I think at the very least, because you know, I think it's been pointed out before that one of the problem with like game journalism reviews is that it will be different people reviewing the games each time, so it's never a consistent person, um, you know, giving their opinions and really building up a repertoire of what they think games should be like and games they've experienced. Whereas Rotten Tomatoes is at least it's like an average, you know? It's a collection of many a people's opinions, and when you look at the very like first page, that's what you're getting. You're getting like the collective kind of in some ways agreed upon score for the movie. Or no, they only do movies. um so I think it's good in that way because it kind of lets you know, like this is what people are thinking of it, this is what people aren't thinking of it. Yada yada yada. And I mean, you could be like, well, I don't want to know that going into the movie, and that's fine. You can formulate your own opinion before checking on others, or conversely, you could use others to really determine if it's a piece of media you want to spend your time getting into and or maybe defending. I don't know. I would only say don't defend things on the internet because there's easier ways to lose lifespan. But you could be like, well, no, I think y'all missed it. X, Y, and Z are good things, not bad things. I mean, I feel like that's the problem, That's kind of what made me think higher of Bloodborne, actually. Because I feel like so many of the... Granted, I don't go around seeking negative opinions about one of my favorite games, but one of the things I like so many times when I hear someone doesn't like Bloodborne, it's usually pretty subjective. It isn't like I think it failed at X, Y, and Z. It is more of a I don't like this, that, the other. So, with that in mind, I would argue that's a point in the game's favor if most people are just like, it's fine. Not for me, though. I could say that about a lot of things. I end up not watching a lot of things just because I feel like I've talked about this before, but I like being in the right mood for them. Maybe one day I'll be able to sit down and consume all sad media, you know, just every piece of sad boy content out there. But it's not today. It's not a day, and it's not tomorrow. I'd like my mental health to be better before I go through pieces of media that are, I don't want to say make you feel bad for the protagonist or whatever, but I mean that is kind of what they're doing. I feel like the biggest thing that comes to mind is Breaking Bad, just because, like, and I've seen recently people talking about, you know, it's just like people still don't get the point of Breaking Bad. Walter was a bad guy, and I knew that. I had a feeling. Mr. Cooksmith wasn't the best of people. And I just if I may have an opinion on the internet, which is blasphemy, I know, but I don't like. I tend not to like a piece of media where the focus is just bad people doing bad things. You get what I'm saying? I would like, I prefer at least sympathetic or otherwise morally debatable people doing actions. Doing actions and having consequences. Or maybe rather, it's also just like, even if they start out as a shitty person, like Scott Pilgrim. I've dipped my toe into Scott Pilgrim a bit. Not the live action movie, I'm sorry, but I really like the art style of the comics. And the fact that was very largely sacrificed for the movie kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. But now they are doing an animated series and it looks fantastic. And it's back to the actual point. Scott starts as kind of not the best person for multiple reasons. Less due to not having a job, more due to how he treats people. And he ends a bit better, you know? So, he learns a lesson. And just personally, that's more my speed than they were bad and bad things happened. So don't be bad. I don't know. Isn't that just Aesop? You know? Go back in time. Fucking read stories about chimpkin and horses. Realize the lesson is just don't be a dick. I know, shocking, but it's just one of those things. It's just one of those days where you don't want to wake up. No. But I mean, I guess at the end of the day, something like Scott Pilgrim versus a story. I don't want to say Breaking Bad because I know less about that than I do Scott Pilgrim. But something like Scott Pilgrim versus a piece of media where the main character's a dick the entire time. Like, it's kind of trying to accomplish the same thing, just through different tones. And at that point, I would argue if that is the case, then I just tend to prefer the one. Like, if you were to make those two near identical, I mean, not nearly identical, but, two movies that were in many qualities complete equals, except one was the character being a dick the entire time and just bad things happened throughout, versus they learn a lesson and things get better, then I would end up just preferring the one where they learn a lesson. Bit of more of a hopeful ending, you know. I mean, I guess it can be true to life that some people die because they're awful and don't end up really learning anything from that because, dead. But but at the same time, well, you could argue the point of these kinds of stories is to make sure that doesn't happen, you know? Aesop tells us that a frog got stabbed to death. And we're like, oh no, poor frog. And he's like, make sure you don't end up like Mr. Frog. And we're like, oh my goodness, Aesop. You're so right. I should make sure I never end up like Mr. Frog. I don't want to end up getting stabbed to death. I think I stink. I stink. It's another one of those things where I'm thinking about how, I had a conversation of people who don't like, with people who don't like someone being in a VC as they stream. But also consider, I like talking to my friends, like Pig. Pig is great. And I adore him. Also, I joined a Discord I've been meaning to just before starting stream, which is one reason it was late. And then I was like, wait a minute. Okay, well, Pig's here. So I gotta wheel out the boy. Wait a minute, guys. I know why stuff is going so slowly today. We don't have our good luck egg. This is I was thinking, I was like, if I make this a permanent thing, what should I call it? And the redeem should be Cahill's Awful Parrot. That's what this is. This is a not very friendly looking parrot, but I like him. That's the cartoon. Pirate, not so intimidating. The parrot on his shoulder, absolutely horrifying. Good trope. Good writing. Let's call it a day, boys. Smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave. Anyway. Pig, I hope you've been having a good day. It would distress me had you not been having a good day. I would prefer my friend Pig to be feeling well. To be doing swell. And to be riding those swells out on Miami Beach, baby. It was a fine day. That's good. I mean, I kind of relate to it. I was learning about, I believe it's called reactance today, which to be clear, I learned was also a thing in like electrical engineering and electrical work. But no, I'm talking about reactance as in psychology, where when the more stuff is demanded of you, the more you don't want to do it. And I feel that. Not necessarily in work most of the time. Let me be, let me be clear here. There are some times my boss comes up to me and be like, "Hey, do this." And I'll be like, "Fuck you. Don't talk to me." But no. I'm more specifying when just a person, just any old person is asking you to do something, and regardless of whether or not you wanted to do that thing beforehand, you don't now. And I think I've been dealing with that for a bit now. Not, I mean, I think it's not necessarily a specific thing to one or two people. But I do think it can vary based on, the factors of your life and everything. You get what I'm saying? Like, you're not going to deal much with what I'm talking about right now if stuff isn't frequently demanded of you. But I would argue, depending on your psychology, philosophy, and situation, upbringing, etc., then you'll end up dealing with it more. Because the more people are telling you to do stuff, the more you're just like, I'm tired of being told it. I would like to decide now. Thank you. And that's kind of what I was thinking about, Because I don't want to not get stuff done that needs to be done. And I don't want to, just shrug people off just because of a weird psychology trick. But conversely, I would also just, enjoy being trusted to be able to do my own stuff. Be able to make my own decisions and everything. You get what I mean? But then again, I'm a big proponent of just a lot of freedom. You know? Not necessarily that people should be able to do whatever they want, however they want, all the time forever, but I guess more so of like, you know, not being boxed in to one option or the other. I just realized we've been listening to the same song on repeat because I didn't put the repeat album option on. I put the repeat song option on. Oops. Well, we've been listening to Crossroads a lot from Hollow Knight. So I hope everyone's been enjoying that. Speaking of audio issues, I would hope if one of my friends tried to hop in VC and I couldn't hear them, that they would say something. But I know at least one friend who wouldn't say anything. You know who it is. You know who it is. It's not Pig. Pig's a sweetie pie. Pig is the fifth generation My Little Pony character, Pinkie Pie. Is My Little Pony like Transformers, where they do kind of have the same cast of characters each time? They're just interpreted differently. You know what I mean? Because seeing Transformers post online, and everything, I know some of the basic bots that make a big appearance. Obviously, you got Optimus Prime and Bumblebee. But then you also have RC. You got RC. She's pretty cool for a lot of reasons. Woman. Oh my goodness. Hello? Riku. Subscribe with Prime. It's very good. But you got RC. I'm trying to think of Ratchet. You have Ratchet. You have Mirage. He's in the new one. I mean, I could think of more of them, but fucking, I know Wheeljack is one example. One of the posts I've been seeing is the different designs for each of the Transformers over the years, and man, it just makes me not like the Michael Bay Transformers even more. Fucking, those guys look awful. Yes, I would love to not be able to tell what the characters are doing at any given point. Because they're just an orgy of metal, is the only way I can describe it. Even Optimus Prime, who I would argue in many ways works well as like a blocky figure in the way he was originally presented. Even he is just very just completely not readable. No idea what's going on with him at any given point. Maybe what I should do instead. You know what? Maybe what I should do instead. You know what? Maybe what I should do instead. Also, Riku, I hope you've been having a good day as well. You know? Hope everything's peachy keen in Riku Town. In Traverse Town from Kingdom Hearts. The town that only appears when you need it is the lore. And honestly, I mean, that kind of works. You know? Of dumb Kingdom Hearts lore, there's stupider things than Traverse Town being some kind of special world that appears for refugees when they need Traverse Town. It's been okay. A little weird. I had So the new part-time job I'm getting is going to be in a hospital, which is honestly pretty neat, Um, but I was doing a physical today for that. They're like, "Hey, you're not unhealthy and or on drugs, are you?" And I said, "No, I am not." And they're like, "Well, you can say that, but we're still going to do a test." And I was like, "Okay." So they were doing tests today. And I was wondering a minute ago, like, man, I'm a little drained. I wonder why. But it could be because of the story I was going to tell. Uh, which is that they took a blood sample. They took many blood samples. They took a few blood samples, and I was a little worried, not because there was blood coming out of me, which I think most things on Earth would be worried about, but not me. I'm a Giga Chad like that. No, I was worried because they didn't really ask what arm I wanted to use for the procedure, and they went for my drawing arm, and that's just a problem with if I want to do art for stream tonight, which I argue is the as which is a stream where my arm is as involved and as active as possible. Unless I start doing like wheat. No, they did not. They didn't give me a cookie or orange juice. Um. But yeah. But it's not like sore, so I'm doing okay. I'm chugging along. I think this is a good layout for the uh the comic. I think I've done good. You did good, champ. Let's go get you an ice cream and sprinkles after the game. I believe I recounted not too long ago. I was not an after schools activity kid. At the very least, like, I don't know if locally there were. Well, I guess I could. I did do karate every now and then. I never got very far. Um, and but more so, I was gonna talk about like, and I guess I never really went out to do. Is it extracurricular? Ex, oh, how do you how do you speak? Extracurricular? Extracurricular is the word. Is it extracurricular if it just straight up has nothing to do with school? You know, I am involved in a legal, safe activity as a child, but it has nothing to do with school. As little to do with school as possible, please. Thank you. They spend enough time there. Don't question me on this. Okay. Time to draw Mr. Fossil Boy. Remember him? The character I'm working with? The one I'm making comics about? I remember. I'm doing my part. I'm doing my part. I ain't done fucking shit. That feels. Y'all know that one? Has everyone here? Have y'all kids seen that meme? that fresh new meme going around? But the one where the guy's like, I didn't do fucking shit. That feels like an SNL bit. It might not be. It might be something else besides SNL. We all need after school fun. I disagree. I disagree. um, but I forget how to draw my man. My grandma texted me, Everyone, let's text Cahill's grandma. How dare you talk to me? Never do that again. And it's sent. It's all good. Well, now that I've gotten rid of my grandma, socially, about your webtoon. Max, could you ask me about my web? I don't think I even have a command for the webtoon link. Let's see if I can. I'll do a thing real quick. Webtoon. No, don't do that. That's right. No. I don't know if I've said this on stream. I love my grandparents. My grandparents are the best. What's the summary of your webtoon? Small boy, existential dread. You know what? Actually, I should just rename the webtoon that, but we're gonna keep going with Fossil Boy. It is descriptive yet deceptive. Is the comic about Fossil Boy? Yes. Could you understand what is happening in the events just by knowing about the name and existence of Fossil Boy? No. I told you all about Father Todd. Wait, where's Smage? Where's Smage? Is he here? Is he about to critique my fictitious world building? Yet again? Let's see. Anyway. I'll pin a link real quick. Smage was really riding my ass. Something is wrong. Please try again. I should be able to pin my own comment. Hello? Can I not pin my own comment? Not on mobile. Comic. Link. That. Pin. Okay. There we go. And then, of course, if you don't care, just scroll on by. My stream is out to get me. I should have known. I should have known. My stream would turn on me. At some point. Because I started doing it that way, Max. And while I could change it, I could also be like, you know what, let's go for kind of an artsy approach. And try and retain the original, you know, vision and flow of it. Because, okay, so this is actually a fun thing on do y'all want a lesson on how to do comics? So comics are different from like paintings and everything, because while paintings can kind of sit a still image in front of you, comics in any medium or format have to kind of bring you through a story. And while in Webtoon it's usually just a matter of going down, I chose to do kind of a older Western newspaper comic strip style. So at the end of the day, as I'm working on it, I'm making the action and everything go this way. Each panel, if I'm doing a good job, is making the reader look to that direction. In fact, in this one alone, where I'm trying some new format things, what the ideal case scenario should be is they go here, 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 and then just kind of here. And I've already kind of started doing it because you can see just the angle Fossil Boy's body in the first panel is going to be is already angling you to go up in that direction. Oh no, that's me thing. If I try to upload them, like, not rotate it, then uh then it'll just squish them and make it unreadable. So I'm just kind of counting on everyone reading it on their phones, so that way they can just landscape it real quick and read. But anyway, so yeah, good comics have some good flow to them, and experiment with the space. And if I wanted to reformat everything to be vertical, it would be very different. Or I could simply put it in the right ratio canvas, and then just be like, hey guys, turn your phones sideways. And I did have a conversation with my friends about that, because they had pointed out, just like, well, I think I talked about this on Dream not too long ago, where they're like, Webtoon is like that because it's from Korea, and that's kind of how the text is there. And I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't realize. But at the same time, I was like, with all due respect to that, because I kind of phrased it in a way of like, I was thinking they just did it for the sake of people reading it on their phones. But then that was pointed out to me, and I was like, okay, fair enough. But I can still just tilt my sideways. And while I will probably have that'll probably have an effect on my numbers, honestly, it's more to drive people towards the Patreon. But if you're like, I don't want to pay for your Patreon and would prefer to read it on Webtoon, rotated or not, that also works. Thank you for just reading my comic. Ugh. Thank you for just reading my comic. I need to text one of my good friends something. Because I really think I'm feeling drained, because I was literally drained of blood. And man, a few of my friends want to get fucked by vampires, and I really couldn't do that. IDK, how you can say you want to fuck Dracula, period. I got sucked. I got a little blood sucked out of me today and feel winded. Yeah. I mean, so here's the thing. If we lived in a world where vampires existed and were around, and I had a homie who was a vampire, and vampires were like a non-demonic thing, they were more so an evolved natural predator of man, I would... Then one of my homies came up and asked, like, hey, could I get some blood? I'd be like, yeah, sure. I don't got much going on today. I do feel like that is the thing, though. Listen, Max, I'm sorry. You can go prove me wrong. What I will say, though, is don't expect to find Castlevania vampires. Because if vampires are real, they're probably more animalistic. That or they're doing the whole thing where they're hiding their existence from us, which I always think is dumb. But that's me. Anyway. I do think it would have to be... like, I have nothing else going on today. Go for it. Not necessarily because I would get tired from it, but more so because I'd be bleeding from the neck for a minute. You know, they're not gonna suck me dry. Like, just like a taste, bro. Let me get a hit of your neck, my guy. And, which would then leave somewhat of a wound on my neck. And I don't need everyone I meet up with being like, hey, did you let a vampire homie hit it? And I'll be like, yes. please stop talking about it. I know. Can we get... It's like, you were either attacked, had sex, or you let one of your friends drink. And I'll be like, I don't need to answer. This is an invasion of privacy. So... They've responded saying that they love Dracula. And I'm just gonna be like, but you need your blood. Anyway. I feel like I'm more scared for vampire fuckers if vampires prove to be real. But they are almost just like large bat creatures. You know? Because what that would mean is that there is something that fits the basic description of sucks blood for life, afraid of sun, yada yada yada. But you'd probably also get rabies from it. No. There's like an SCP that's like that, called the Dracula Factory. And like... They're almost more like lampreys than they are traditional vampires, but they tick a lot of the vampire box. I haven't talked about SCP in a while. That's because I've been off it for a minute. Not to necessarily say I don't like it. It still influences a lot of my work. But sometimes life is horrifying enough. You know, sometimes I don't need a horror story. Sometimes life is a horror story. So you just tone down the fictional horror a bit and turn up the real stuff. Also, for the record, because I feel like someone at some point, and I'll probably have to repeat myself, will be like, "Hey Cahill, how does he walk? How does Fossil Boy walk? That guy doesn't got no knees. How his feet move forward?" And my response to that is that I just kind of imagine he has, like, so there's a video of like chainmail armor, like a chainmail armor shoe bending as someone like flexes it. Because they're showing, it's like, hey, armor wasn't as clunky as you think it was, because, you know, people have to wear it. And that's kind of what Fossil Boy's working with. He's kind of got like a plate mail shoe that's bending. So that way, he can just kind of waddle forward. Points out like Kirby. Yeah, exactly. But I would argue, Max, Kirby's... Like, people will be like, well, he's got metal feet, so that's got to be harder. But because Kirby's got, you know, flesh feet. Well, I say flesh. It's like bubblegum. Kirby's got squishy feet. So that's why I wanted to point it out. You say that, Max, but I'd like to point to evidence number 1, Sonic the Hedgehog. It's very important to know how Sonic walks. Most people have concluded in a sort of Mobius strip sort of fashion, running very fast, but still. Yeah, Twitch isn't always the best. This is why. So, again, let's just point this out. We got 4 people here. I thank y'all for being here. We had a lot of people come by yesterday for Super Mario World. And that was a game Twitch was saying like, hey Cahill, if you play that, people will watch. And I hate that they were right. Because Twitch doesn't do a lot of stuff right. So why give them credit for anything? You know what I mean? They don't deserve it. So everyone better come to my streams and prove them wrong. Oh, yeah. No, for sure. Honestly, I think half the time... I think half the time the ads, like, break in such a way. I think the ads will occasionally break in such a way and are programmed so obnoxiously already that you actually do end up with more than even they intend it, you know? Like, it doesn't realize you've watched an ad already, so it just plays more. And it keeps doing that. It keeps being like, Hey, boss, I don't think they've sat through enough ads. You want a break from the ads? Want a break from the ads? Want a break from the ads? Are you seriously watching porn all by yourself? No, I'm with the science team. Yeah. Maybe. Maybe so, Max. But I'm also always constantly looking on the horizon for new stream opportunities. So fucking I'm the least I can do is assume maybe it's not sometimes they didn't make it that awful on purpose. At the end of the day, it is still their fault. It's more of a question of intent. And I'm trying to give them a bit of a benefit of the doubt there. Is it raining? No. Man, I wish it would rain. Well, okay, I say that. There's a hurricane blowing through California right now. That's no good. I like rain. I like reasonable rain, but obviously, you know, obviously too bad weather is not a great thing. But well, I made an offhanded comment. It is, you know, one man dies of thirst in the desert, another drowns. Both are problems. They're just on the opposite side of a spectrum. Also, I love that I follow enough people in, like, LA to hear that there was an earthquake as the hurricane was blowing through. So... they're like, was that an earthquake... a quake-a-cane? A hurricane? It's like, I guess? Please stop inventing words for it. But again, where... wait, is... I'm trying to think, where did I put the... oh no. Where did I put the thing we did one stream? Is this it? Yes, it is. The character height reference chart. I have found it. Thank you for asking. You didn't ask? Well, that's a shame. Want a break from the ads? Okay. Where did that go? It's over here. Small image. Small image. Bump, 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 bump. Okay. Do you think Silk Song will ever come out? I know a lot of people hope it will. But... also, I did hear the other day, as I watched someone play Hollow Knight, that it was made by, like, 3 people. Team Cherry is 3 people. So... yeah, we just gotta have patience. Just have some patience. Anyway, I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick. Yeah, exactly. We shouldn't... listen. Crunch is so much of a problem half the time. We shouldn't be pressuring them to uh, to be making a game that quickly, especially if it's going to be super good. Anyway, I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick, maybe grab something. I will be right back. Egg, entertain them. I'm back. You know, if I can talk behind shop for a minute. Before stream, because, okay, so after last night's stream, especially when it went so successful, I did go to see what other games might be suggested for them. And shocker, there were a few Mario titles on there. But, you know, we had a lot of fun yesterday, especially as I was failing so much in certain levels. Just palling around. And I thought the one that looked kind of prime for streaming, I was like, honestly, might be a little too easy, you know? Maybe a vanilla playthrough wouldn't actually cut it as much as I'd want it to. So I was looking up challenge runs for a certain Mario game, and I found one I like a lot, so I don't know how much it will actually, you know, change the playthrough we end up doing, but I will look forward to it, so. You can't stop me. No one can stop me. I do also want to get back to doing has been eaten by a worm. No, it's not a worm. This is my parrot. Every pirate needs a good exotic animal to bring home with and make their pal or pet a classic. A classic pirate tradition. And this one's mine. His name is Egg. That's weird. That's where he came from. He came from a type of flesh egg we found on an island somewhere. Ever since I got him, people have been taking me a lot more seriously as a pirate, so I owe this little birdie a lot. Anyway, Yeah, I do want to get back to doing Souls games, but one, we're going to be starting a Nuzlocke tomorrow. Oh my goodness. It's the buzzword of everyone who wants to watch Pokemon online. Everyone loves watching a Nuzlocke. I take a drink real quick. And then, I want to do like more Mario and stuff. So, I want to just get like at least the Nuzlocke on top of the Mario World out of the way before we go back to like Blood. I mean, it's probably gonna be Bloodborne. I did start the platinum run save file, but the stream went screwy, so I decided to can that one. So probably do more Bloodborne. And then I was thinking Dark Souls. Mayhaps an Elder Ring. I mean, who knows? So one of the reasons I want to do Dark Souls is because have y'all ever noticed I never finish Dark Souls 1. The Scorch, I mean, I could do the Scorch contract again. Or wild idea. I could just do a slightly easier challenge run and have fun with that. And then there is an Elden Ring idea I'm very interested in. I realized watching this shit. No. Honestly, I like it. I was the one who messed it up. Now, granted, you could argue that like I should not know what the contracts are. So therefore the one that really screwed me over, that one was particularly a bit shit if you come across it too early. But besides that, I'm not going to hold the mod. I'm not going to hold against the mod if I ended up, not being able to handle it. Well, Max, we could just play Kaizos. Maybe I become a Kaiser, the worst. Maybe my thing from now on is being the worst Kaizo streamer. Have we considered these options? I'd like to look at expanding my portfolio. No. But I am still gonna do well, here's the thing. I can do Scorch Contract if I want. All of the challenge runs I have to do in Souls should probably be like a in-game challenge. Simply because as we've seen many times at this point, I cannot stream a game from the laptop I'm playing it on. So at least not the PC I use for many Steam games. So with that in mind, a lot of these will be self-engineered challenges, as opposed to modded in challenges. But yeah, honestly, I feel like one of the reasons I'm excited for doing Elden Ring isn't just that the DLC is coming out and hopefully that might draw people in to watch my stream, but also because while I think it kind of to a degree loses a bit to the open world more than it gains from it, the open world does make it even more fun of like, oh, I don't have to do X, Y, and Z. I can just skip over that. Yada, 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 yada. Rada, rada, rada. So that works. I do like it. It has grown on me since it came out. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think Max is the opposite. Max does not like Elden Ring. But honestly, I'm like, pretty good Souls game. Better than Sekiro. Low bar, and it passes. Sometimes you just have to pass the lowest bar imaginable. Yeah. I wouldn't say it's that much. I do think it's pretty good. Pretty solid all around in a lot of ways. suffers in some areas, but you know, name me a game that has it. I would say, to a degree, I would say like it's a case of okay, then you do better. But me and Max were talking about making games the other day, so I think if I said, okay, Max, how about you make an open world fantasy game better than Elden Ring? Max would be like, I'm going to. I'm doing it now. The Kickstarter is open. Hello, RG Bargy Wait, RG Bargy were you the last one who followed? Let me see. I have a feel. You were! Oh my goodness. Welcome in. Hope you're having a good day. I'm just working on my webcomic. Talking about challenge runs. Okay. Oh my good. Pig was talking. Well, that. Bargy. I don't mean to be, you know, nosy, but if my good friend Pig says a good word about you, that's as good of a recommendation as I can get. And hello, me. We were just talking about challenge runs. I will say, I do think I have to make my challenge runs just a bit easier. Because I mean, maybe we will do another Bloodborne. Maybe I need to do another Torch Bloodborne playthrough because fucking like having to use the base torch, like that might have been a little overboard, and that's kind of what ended up making me use Molotovs. But on the other hand, I still think it's something to be proud of and everything. I mean, no matter how you sweat it, I got through the entire game with my only primary weapon being the lighting utensil. So when you look at it like that, then it's a bit better. But regardless, I do think I have to make them easier on myself, just because setting up failure to be that easy ends up not being as fun, and I shouldn't make it unfun on myself or anyone coming to stream. You know, we should all be having a good time together. So hopefully easier challenge runs in the future, because, you know, even though I'm not super great at games, a lot of I don't want to go through them blind. I've decided after so long, going through games blind tends to be even worse for me. Aw. You're a good bean. Meat. But also, on the other hand, going through games I know and I think might be easy, not very different. Not like that's the opposite problem. It's just like this is not very super entertaining to watch. I'm very proud of yesterday's stream. My friends came, we all had a great time. Fucking had some laughs at my expense. Talked about weird stuff. And I didn't not make. I got like through half. I got nearly 30 deaths, but I also made it through half the game. So, you know, it's one of those things where it's just like it was okay. Very, very laid back. Also, I'm gonna get a piece of equipment real quick. I'm a real piece of equipment, if you know what I mean. I'm a real piece of work. A piece of artwork? Aww. I could do Kirby. Honestly, it might be fun. I forget, cause there's the super hard mode in Kirby All-Star Allies, which I really enjoy. It's almost like a roguelike in a lot of ways. And with that in mind, I think it might be fun to play, but I forget if that's like the whole game or if it's just like a boss rush. If it's the whole game, then I would love to do it. Especially because I unlocked Curb. Freaking Curb. The classic Kirby. So that'd be a fun time. I mean, I would want to get through... Damn it. I would want to get through other Kirbys before that, though. And I'm not sure I'd want to do challenge runs with them. I mean, heck, if we do, like, Kirby's Epic Yarn, why should I even play a Kirby's Epic Yarn if I'm going to do a challenge run, you know? If it's not going to be a comfy, cozy time where we can all relax a bit. You know, what's the point then? What are we even... I think we've missed the point. I think we jumped the sharks, fellas. The point of doing fucking challenges in FromSoft games in the first place is because when you start those games, they're hard, but eventually they get better. Like, you get better and you learn them, so they become easy, you know? So you do a challenge run, and you're just like, this will make it so I don't just blast through the game in 5 minutes and kind of get the first time experience again. Which is why I'm not doing a challenge run when we go back to Bloodborne, because I'm like, hey, I love this game. How about we just play it normally and I feel okay about myself? Wild concept, I know. Self-confidence. Alien to me, but hear me out here. Tropical leaves. Cranberry sauce legs. Oh my goodness. Wait a minute. Everyone, fuck the presses. I need to tell you something. Remember the other day, both in Discord and in on stream, I was talking about how Terminal Montage's Sonic 2 cartoon might be his best cartoon yet, best, at least singular cartoon yet. If nothing else, just for the fact that it is both a pretty good comedic parody of Sonic 2, as well as a decently nice redescription of basic events in the game. Well, guess what? He made an official Sonic comic. Sega hired Terminal Montage to do an official Sonic comic. I think that's the first time a game company has ever recognized him and hired to do art for them. And he deserves it, because he makes amazing cartoons. So I'm so happy that that's a thing. I mean, they've done some stuff recently where they've had different artists come in and do some Sonic comics for Twitter. But, you know, you wouldn't expect Terminal Montage, both because of his simplistic style and the fact that he makes the bucks making fun of games to a large degree. So loadout idea for a torch. So there's multiple reasons I wouldn't want to do a torch runner, and I'm not stopping you, me, because at the end of the day, the torch run in Elden Ring is a whole new beast. You have multiple ones, you have multiple torches, so it can potentially be decently easier. Make it okay on yourself. I think so, maybe. But I mean, ever since Mania came out, they've been like, okay, we just need fans to make content for us, or else we're going under. Anyway. But just because, I don't know. I did have a pretty good time with... Yeah, exactly. St. Trina's is one of the things, especially because it inflicts sleep. But, I don't know. There's a wide option. The main thing I'm trying to get at is there's a wide variety of stuff you can do in Elden Ring That's like a large selling point of the game. So I think just being like torch challenge run is like, no, there's other things. And also I don't want to just, I think the other thing I was trying to say is I don't want to just keep copying Zero Lenny. He did the torch run in Elden Ring. So. And also, like, if and when we do Elden Ring, I might be convinced to do Melania on my challenge run for like a shit ton of money, you know? Like, legitimately. I'd be like, hey guys, pay for like psychology bills. I'm going to injure my brain doing this. So, better make it worth it. But I would never, ever, 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 ever do any sort of torch run on Melania. Absolutely not. For so many reasons. Yeah. Well, yeah, I say that, but again, remember, I'm saying when I start the challenge run, and it's not going to be torch only. It's going to be the challenge I set out for myself. So. So don't think you're gonna get away by I'm not joking. Like it it would be easier to slut me out, to whore me out, to pay for sex with me, than it would be for me to not only do a Torch Elden Ring run, but also just a Torch Melania fight. I'm not joking. The price for the latter is lower than the price for the former. Honestly, RG Bargy Art, I would, at the moment, if I had to give a hard number for how much for a Torch Elden Ring run to pay, for someone to pay for me to do a Torch Elden Ring run, like upwards of $8,000. That is like the realistic amount of money it would take. Upwards of that far too large amount. Enough to pay for hospital bills. Enough that I could go to my parents and be like, hey, I'm quitting my current job, my current part-time job, to go get this done. They paid for it, so. And they wouldn't get it. They'd be scared for the corners of the internet I'm going on. But, you know, like 10K in donations, so. I don't know if any service allows you to pass that much money around. Probably not. Probably no reputable services. Certain AK will know. Yeah, let me say that. One person. Just to make it extra impossible. I can't wait for Jeff Bezos to come in here and finally redistribute his wealth via making me suffer. It's my kink. Hello, it's Jeff Bezos. My kink is seeing Twitch streamers suffer. That's my kink. Anyway. Listen, at the end of the day, I stream because I have a lot of fun with it. More so than anything else. I was talking to friends about numbers the other day. And while I do wish more people would come to streams, it's also just like, I feel like if I let Twitch get in my head, Twitch's charts and whatever, then then that's me losing. That's me letting them win. So I'm not gonna be that bummed about it, legitimately. Uh, but that also, I mean, double-sided sword. That means I'll do more of what I just want. If nothing I do gets more people here, then I'm allowed to do what I want. So. To impress a woman. Listen. Ladies make you do crazy things. Like kill people. Oh. You were saying specifically he was throwing his money out the window for a lady. Gotcha. I didn't realize you were telling a story about local bad dragon Jeff Bezos. I thought you were saying, Cahill, you're this kind of insane. And I was gonna roll it. Aren't we all just a little crazy? No? Okay. Just me? Gotcha. Oh, you know what? Speaking of challenge runs, you know what would be fun? I was talking about this on Zade's stream. Shout out to Zade. Thank you, streaming. Let me do an actual shout out to show just how much I mean it. I was talking about doing like Steel Soul, Hollow Knight, and not like after I do a Hollow Knight run. I'm saying like the first streams of Hollow Knight are Steel Soul mode. I feel like, especially if I tap into the paranoid howling monkey I was while playing Mario World, I feel like if I'm really cautious about it, I can get far at least, I think the only thing I would like cheese a bit would be the mask, because I remember, especially on my first ever playthrough of Hollow Knight, I did not get a lot of mask, and I definitely didn't get any of them early. So that would be one of those things where I'd be like, hey, give me as much health as possible right now. Currently. That is true. Wait a minute. There are people here. Greg isn't here. I believe it's Greg who redeemed this, but I do owe a bunny picture from yesterday alone. So look at him. He tries to hide, but he's so cute. He cannot be hidden. Such a cutie. Love my bunwee. No, noise. Nice. I don't know what that guy is in that internet video going nice. But I know he's done a lot of weird stuff, cuz I've seen him talking about wild things, man. And like I know sometimes you do that. Like you could post clips of me talking about wild things. But the difference is like this stream is basically my pad itself. This stream, if you see a lone fucking rubber hose character saying wild things on a static screen, you know that there's a couple wacky details about the situation. It's not like I film myself in my living room saying these things. I film myself in your... Oh, Greg, you literally just missed it. One more time. Bunwee. Dramatic music for Bunwee. Anyway, I hope you're having a good day, Greg. Hope everything is swell in Gregland. I need to look for pictures of my very good... He is very good. I need to look for pictures of my boy. Not Oswald. Fossil boy. Specific boy. Slept not as much as I wanted. Yeah, I've been there, Greg. Honestly, until literally just about last night, I was not sleeping very much at all. So, and the night before that, like when I say not much at all, it was just me getting bad sleep. But the night before last night, I basically got no sleep whatsoever. Chill next to you. This is my parrot, Meat. Meat, this is my parrot. You know how pirates have parrots? This one is mine. He's here to help me. Both to draw and to be a parrot. So. His name is Egg... So. I'm thinking about making a redeem to bring Egg out. So. I'll make a redeem to bring Egg out. And then make a considerably more expensive redeem to put him away. Oh, a wildly more expensive redeem to make him go away. Doon, 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 doo doon, doo doon, doon doon, doo doon, da doon, da doon, da doon, da doon, da doon, da doon, doon, da doon. And you and I, there's a new land. Angels in flight, one with ever a chaperone. My sanctuary where fears and lies melt away. Yeah, yeah. Angels in flight, oh, one with ever chaperone. What's left of me? What's left of me now? Is everyone gone? They should be. That's the Pokemon. It sure is, Greg. Also, I use my phone basically as my chat window while I'm doing these streams. But it does mean I have to manually check if anyone's redeemed anything. No one redeem anything this stream. What's left of Egg? What's left of Egg? Well, nice. Nice. Should I play... Okay. Everyone, be honest here. If I play Kingdom Hearts on stream, how many of y'all are gonna be mean to the games while I'm playing them? Come on now. Speak up. I will. Well, then I won't be playing Kingdom Hearts. Greg? Uh-oh. You fell for the Oh, without a doubt I would. Um, I don't want to do that, you know? Honestly, because so after I play one or two Mario titles, I want to do the Sonic, like I was saying, to get ready for the new games. And, like, we're going to be doing Sonic Adventure, and I don't want to just be mean to Sonic Adventure. My first exposure to those games was Game Grumps. And while I definitely get where Aaron's criticisms and everything come from, especially with those games, even back then I was like, these have a kind of charm to them that is undeniable. And I can get if someone really adores them for that. Even if in some areas gameplay is lacking. But I never just want to play a game and be like, everyone, point and laugh. Point and laugh at this line of code. I was. And here's the thing, I heard it was pretty good. I probably wouldn't stream it because I don't think... Because, not to be rude, listen, I know, I'm such a sellout. But I am trying to play some games that might bring in some more numbers. I don't think that one would. But Gerard Completionist gave it a complete it, and he doesn't do that very often. So I was like, this does seem somewhat worth checking out. To be fair, there's a few Mickey Mouse games. I mean, my favorite game is a Mickey Mouse game that are nothing to sneeze at. But I mean, hey, that's the thing I say so much about my favorite game, is that everyone's like, well, it's Mickey Mouse, so who gives a shit? And I'm like, wait a minute. Technically, Kingdom Hearts is a Mickey Mouse game. Which I'm sure is where that comment came from me, but... Have we not learned... Chat, have we not seen enough movies to not know don't judge a book by its cover? Now, granted, if you're like, I don't want to support Disney, that's... yeah. Completely fair. What was that one you and Pig were thinking about playing? Oh, we're not thinking about playing it. Me. On September the 8th, lest something changes. Me, Pig, and a special guest are playing Dokapon Kingdom. And I should probably address it with them, but I feel it almost goes without saying that it'll be a extra long one. It'll be a chunky stream, because Dokapon Kingdom is the kind of game. I mean, that's what I was equating it to D&D not too long ago, because it does allow for some role playing, some despite being very like board game based. It does kind of allow you to express yourself, but also common things with D&D is that it takes a long time to get done. It is a campaign. It is no a true game of Dokapon Kingdom is a campaign. So well, hey, listen, the day might change, and or there will be VODs, and or we will be going long enough that it won't matter what time we start. If you really want to see us play Dokapon Kingdom, you will have more than enough time to catch us live, you know what I mean? So, I wouldn't sweat it that much. Feel free to drop in at any point. Will you go until... We might? That's only 4 hours. And I would hope that be the minimum we recognize needing. It's also on a weekend night, so hopefully most of us do not need to be like, I gotta go for work. Well, you know, to sleep before work. To rest. God, rusty merry gentlemen, let nothing you may hate. Remember that our Savior was born on Christmas Day. To save us all from Satan bound, we were gone astray. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, oh, tidings of comfort and joy. Despite how jokingly I was just singing that song, I do really like it. You know? It's old-timey, yada yada yada. But it also says tidings of comfort and joy. and I feel like it does that talking about subjects not everyone's always comfortable with. Religion. Religion. It's just very just like, hey, everyone feel good. It's Christmas time. Good care, exactly. And not all of the ones that mention like the roots of the holiday are cheerful. I don't think I need to tell anyone here that people try to make Jesus songs don't always keep the song in mind. The song coming first. God's not dead, he's surely alive. Oh. Just a lot of butt rock. Pat's Oswald, as you should, Greg. As you should. I did have Oswald out and about today. You know, I was giving him some treats. My mom actually found these ones that were, was thinking of. I mean, they're basically almost like cereal. Like, that's what they remind me of. They are like cereal for Bunwees, and he enjoys those. So that's good. And heck, it's not as if fruit is the end all be all for Bunwees. In fact, if you look it up, a lot of the stuff people are like, feed them this. Like, that's just a lot of sugar. I mean, if you don't know fruits are a lot of sugar, then I have very bad news for you. Wait a minute. I have diabetes. Fruits have sugar? Oh no! Fructose. Sweet Mamba Jamba. The occasional. Oh, that's very cute. I was thinking of. I was working with teddy bear hamsters the other day, and they were very cute. By the way, so besides just paying better and having some, you know, very professional benefits, if and or when I switch to the hospital, when I switch to the hospital job over the current pet store job I have, it will be because just the random inane BS task they give me. It really started with working the cash register. And they're like, okay, when you're working cash register, also stock shelves. Stock these shelves around the corner. And I'd be like, wait, I'm at the register. Like, even when I decide to go do it, within like 5 seconds, someone is up at the register. More exact, yes. Thank you. My family is just like, well, they want you to work. And I'm like, I get that. But there's like work, and then there's just like, do these tasks so that you are busy. And also, fucking, who cares? Exactly. And then the other day, kind of the same thing. I was not doing the register. I was in the part of the store where like you work with the pets, and when people want pets, they come to you. And I was just hanging around because like people weren't getting stuff that day. No, okay. I would like to say this. It's not necessarily unsustainable or unreasonable. It's just like, I just don't like the idea. I don't like the belief, practice, uh, stigma, whatever you want to call it, that like must be working every minute you're there. Like sometimes I'm just waiting for sometimes I'm just waiting for customers to come up. Is it so bad? Is it so bad I'm waiting for a customer to approach me? If I look and like if they just wanted me to not be on my phone, they should have said that. I get it, but like I was standing at a podium, phone on the podium, I was reading a book, waiting for customers to come up. If they have a problem with that setup, that's fine. Tell me. Don't just say go do a task. Not telling me what task to do. Like that was specifically the thing where I was just like, you need to calm down. Because it wasn't like we need this done. It's like we want you to do anything, like anything else. I'm just like you get what I'm saying. I'm not against work. I was thinking about this the other day. Like I hold myself accountable for commissions and these comics, yada yada yada. Like I'm okay working. I'm okay doing lots of work. But I would like it to be both for a reason and furthermore, like not just because you want me to be working more. I hope you have a better time at work than I did, Greg. See you later. But yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's just I don't like people acting like I'm lazy, because the task and job I was hired to do not demand attention at that point. Does that make sense? I hope it doesn't sound like. I guess to boil down my thoughts so I'm not misconstrued, I just don't enjoy the thing of like, you know, and I mean that is the other thing, right? There's the thing people talk about more calmly, where it's, you got your work done, time to do more work. That's a shitty reward for getting your work done. Um, and I wouldn't go that far as to like that was my situation. More so, just like, you know, you're just giving me busy work for the sake of busy work, and I'm not a fan of busy work. Yeah. Yeah, if you're like, it would be one thing if you're like, Dylan, I know it's slow today. I have a list of things I need to get done. Please go do these. That would be one thing. But just panically approaching me and being like, you can't be not doing stuff specific to work. I swear to heck. Like, not the best approach. Yeah, exactly. Honestly, I think hard work can be a very good thing. I was a dishwasher. That is a very humble job with a lot of workload. But that's the thing. Is like the work was constant and I didn't complain about it cuz I always, you know, cuz it always needed getting done. So I didn't so one, they usually didn't care if I was on my phone cuz that would last all of 5 seconds. And two, you know, I would argue, not to go too far, but if you want people to be like, looking good and professional all the time, like very just like, welcome to our business. Would you like a mint as you peruse, or that kind of stuff? That should be reflected in the pay. Like, hey, we are paying you to be polite as possible to our customers, and I am. I love helping customers when they're there, when they're present. That is why I love those kinds of jobs. I love talking to people and figuring stuff out. But I'm getting paid minimum wage to the cent. To the cent. To the cent. So, which is also why I never say who I'm working for as I'm working for them. Because it's like, it doesn't matter. I work at a store, and that's it. Yeah. And also, like, so even when I was working at Disney, which was, I mean, it was above minimum wage in Florida. So I'll give them credit there. You know, it was above the minimum wage for Florida, so good for them there. But they also stress, like, hey, millions and millions of people come here all the time, spending thousands of dollars to have a good time. Don't be the thing that ruins their vacation. Like, they hammered that home to you. Be like, they are spending so much money. Do not ruin it for them. And I can respect that. They are hammering home the stakes of your job right now. All good. And they pay you okay. Honestly, they should pay more. But, like, they're not, like, under. Not necessarily under well, okay. Let me say this. Not for the people in the college program. Others, they should pay more. Yeah. I believe at Disney it was 16 was the minimum starting pay, which is pretty good. Regardless. But that's the thing, right? Even if I should be getting paid more at my job, as long as my coworkers are nice and, like, I'm not just otherwise having an awful time, shitty day, whatever, like, as long as I'm at complete neutral and the people I work with are decent and not, like, actively making me angry, then I will do my best to do a good job, because I know, people are coming here. They're trying to get. That's weird. No, I'm gonna do this. Oh wait. Yeah. My selection tool's all fucked up. But, like, I'm gonna try my job, because genuinely I like to try and do decent work, and I like to help people, so I'm not gonna slack on those parts. But yeah, I didn't want to get into that, but no, I get it. I'm only saying, listen, we should all get more money. Honestly, I don't think that should be like a doomin or whatever, kind of topic, but still. I like to make sure. I don't like to make people think about that. And hey, look on the bright side. Especially if you get to join in on this. I'm not part of any unions, unfortunately. I love to be part of the animators union. I don't have an animation job. So not yet. I know you can probably join before you get one, but I would prefer to just, like, work on my portfolio and do some stuff first beforehand. Regardless, though, lots of strikes happening for very similar reasons. So with any luck, we'll be seeing some change. Not yet. Yeah, exactly. You mean me for the animations union? Yes. It'd be great if I could join one time. It would be great. Hey, listen, it'd be great if I could do this for a living while joining like the animation union and like just make my own animated films while doing that. Being like I am actively part of the professional animation community while working on my own projects. That would be fantastic. But I would like to be making enough money at art and or at an art job. Because don't you have like dues and stuff? Like you are actively supporting the union as a business while being a part of it. The service they are providing for said business is making sure the business you work for isn't steamrolling you. So again, I'd like to be making money at art. I don't think there's much I could add to the union or the union could add for me if I'm not doing art as a job when I join. So I'm gonna hold off for a minute and support them in other ways, in other non-member ways. I'd also like you to be making money at art. I appreciate it, Meat. Meat, you're great. Meat, you're a sweetie. A type of sweet meat? Man, honey glazed ham would be great. Degree or certification. Yeah. You know, okay. So, hear me out for a minute. Just for a minute. Chickens, easy to raise in the wild. I mean, easy to raise on a farm. They produce eggs on top of on top of any meat you might get from them. So good farming animal. Good farming animal is a chicken. Okay? People do it at their own homes. They don't even, not even as a like I'm going to kill it eventually, just as a I want the eggs kind of thing. Good is chickens. Pigs are great. Unfortunately, they are also delicious. So like, you know, we get ham. Okay? If I had a choice, if I had a choice on how to rewrite history a bit, I wouldn't have cows as livestock. It takes a lot to have cows as livestock, and it's not typically like I'm not trying to get on a high horse here. I just wouldn't do cows, you know? For the milk, sure, maybe. Could also do goats. Lots of people drink goat milk. Oh, lots of people drink oat milk. It's funny that rhymes. But I'd be like, let's not actually do cows. Moses, when he comes down from the mountain, actually, let's not do cows. It's wild. That's a wild story when you think about it. Wait a minute. How long was he up there? Because a lot of people, how long was Moses on the mountain? 8 days. He was there for a week. That would be wild me. Then I would understand where the hippo deaths are coming from. Wow, what a callback. Hippo attacks. Anyway, it's wild that Moses was up on the mountain for a week. And in that time, the thousands of people that he freed using like superpowers was like, we found a cow and made it our entire personality. It's wild that happened. Regardless, though. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, I think a lot of people could live without steaks and other beef products. I think those would be easily replaceable in a lot of ways. And even if you're like, okay, well, we can't do milk, there's a lot of milk substitutes. You get what I'm saying? Like right now, we count on cows a lot. But I think if we look at our bang for our buck, we could phase cows. Okay, I've talked to the cow union. They are also ironically not happy with the situation. Ironically, despite what unions are typically for, the cow union would also like these people to not have their jobs. They'd be like, you know what? We thought about it. All us cows would also like to not be doing this. So we're gonna figure something out here. Probably. We are in agreement about a few things. We've decided it's more cost effective not to do cows. They've decided that they don't like to go through all that. So, definitely some middle ground. It does make me wonder. So, like, I'm not necessarily like full vegan or whatever or anything like that. I do try to be conscious. I talked about this a while ago. When you try to not eat meat, it's wild how much you realize how much meat there is in a lot of restaurants and food. Um, a clip. Thank you so much, meat. Um, I'll fucking I'll put one of those badly animated Bible movies over it for TikTok. I used to watch. Here's the thing. I used to watch some animated Bible stories as a kid, and I remember them being okay. I do think there is one that is used as a meme, but they were not like the badly made 3D ones that you'll typically see. So, I'm thankful for that at least. At least I got to see those stories in in a format that was okay and not deeply cursed. And at the end of the day, you know, if nothing else, I guess a lot like Greek mythology, you can see a lot of the stories from the Bible, at least like Noah's Ark and all that stuff, is just like fun stories. Um, what was I thinking of? It was just cows. Oh yeah, I'm not like full vegan or anything, and not even am I like everyone should be full vegan. Like I'm not that far down that road quite, but let's say we were going with my plan, right? Let's say we were moving forward with the Cahill proposal. Uh, you know how there's like tofu and stuff? What like meat is tofu like most like slash most able to be like? You know what I'm saying? Like there's definitely one of the meats and meat taste that tofu is like easiest to replicate with. Which one is it? Is it beef? I think that would be great. I think we'd solve a lot of problems like that. Um, but I don't know. What I'm saying is, in a middle ground, we could probably replace one of the meats with tofu, yeah? Yeah, huh? I have to think so. Okay, I'm saying this. Remember how I said, like, chickens are good no matter which way you split it? Um, Apparently, there is a type of mushroom that tastes like cooked chicken. I'm looking it up right now. I learned this from Ginger Pale. Shout out to Ginger Pale, another fantastic YouTube animator. Chicken of the woods. Mild lemony note that's reminiscent of chicken, lobster, or crab. See? I'm just saying. There all I'm saying is if we really actually put our brains to it, there's probably a lot of substitutes for a lot of not great foods that would taste just about as good. That'd be good. It every time I have kind of a fantasy about um sex. No. About like, being in a survival situation. I do have to put myself on like a island with bananas and such. I mean, because usually it's shipwreck, especially since I do. Even outside of stream, I love the sea and would love to go sailing on it. But beyond that, um, that is completely fair meat. I will say one thing though. I have worked with bugs in working in the pet store industry, and some of them smell. It's so wild because you don't think about it, but sometimes when you get enough bugs together, they start to smell, and that's not great. So, like, granted, they probably wouldn't smell bad when you cook them, like if you prepared them as meat and cooked them, but but when being kept around, they start to smell bad. So, regardless of that, oh yeah, no matter what survival situation I'm in, I'm probably not going to count on mushrooms, you know? Just scientifically, mushrooms and fungi are kind of an enigma. And I'm sure I have no doubt, I have no doubt in my head, if tomorrow I started becoming an expert on mushrooms and fungi and was able to accomplish being considered an expert in that field, I have no doubt in my head I would still not trust my knowledge enough to confidently eat a mushroom in the wild. Yeah, exactly. I think enough deadly and tasty mushrooms look similar enough that even if I was an expert on it, I would go look for just any other food. I think as a mycologist, I would know enough about mushrooms to be like, it's not worth it. I'd be like, my last resort. These mushrooms that I'm like 50% sure are safe to eat. These are my. If I can find nothing else to eat within the next 2 days, I will eat them, and I might die, but you know, I just really. There's no circumstance. There is absolutely zero in this timeline, in a possible timeline, in any sort of future where I would be like, I know enough about mushrooms to confidently say this will not kill me. Not. Yeah, exactly. I mean, so that's the thing, meat. Here's an interesting thing. A lot of people who want to argue a certain way will point at scientific uncertain, like scientists saying like there's a 90% chance, there's a whatever, like, but scientists only say that because they're scientists. They are going by the hard facts and are trying to be like, I guess in an extreme situation this could happen, like they're literally accounting for everything. um Whereas if you just like talk to a scientist, they'll be like, no, yeah, that's definitely true. You know what I mean? So casually, scientists will be like, no, I am certain that is a fact, a irrefutable. No, yeah, no. I'm not trying to get doomer with it. I just think it's interesting. I'm not trying to like talk about the people who are buttholes about it. I'm trying to say it's interesting that scientists are so tied to the numbers and research and yada 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 that even if privately and personally they are certain of something, professionally they will still kind of give you the ratio of it. You know what I mean? And in a lot of ways, I have a respect for that because they're really being like, I know, because I feel like that in a lot of ways, where I'm like, most likely it's this, but it could be the other thing, maybe. If I'm very unlucky, if things are going bad, this could happen. Except I keep that to myself, because if I tell people, they're gonna be like, "What do you mean?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm just saying." But scientists do that as a living. As a living, scientists are like, no, there. I guess there's a 1% chance X happens. So, fun. Funnily enough, like that's true of This is much more of a funny example than a downer one. Y2K. You know, they were like, yes, computers could break one way or another if we don't account for the turn of the millennia. We have, however, accounted for, like they had already fixed it. They're like, sure, they could break in a couple ways if we don't fix that timing blip. But we did. So. As a kid, I was genuinely afraid of the Mayan calendar thing. But one, that was more so because of the 2012 movie, which has literally nothing to do with the Mayan. It has more to do with Noah's Ark than the Mayan calendar. And two, oh no, I get it's kind. I is the Mayan calendar more silly than Y2K? Y2K was, in a lot of ways, a real thing at some small point in time. Not necessarily an apocalypse, but just a computers could break if we don't account for clocks changing. Whereas the Mayan calendar is mostly, I guess, like superstition in a lot of ways, but it is the thing of like, this is a, you know, thing to measure time that's super old and it just stops here for some reason. You get what I'm saying? Like, is that sillier to say, hey, that ancient thing used to measure time, it just stops? Why did it stop? I guess in some ways it's silly, but maybe it's just like the maybe it's just like the part of your brain tugging you, being like, hey, but what if though, not being 100% spurred on by science, just the whole what if scenario, but still. It was plausible. Well, that's money, and I don't recognize the authority. We ain't no Mr. Krabs run establishment here. I don't recognize the authority of the money. I do need it to live, but that's different. Oh boo hoo hoo. Oh boo hoo hoo. A bunch of bank computers broke. Oh yeah. Oh, my life savings is gone. Okay. Whatever. How about we focus on the real issues here? Like the turtles. You mean like pollution? No. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. I have I did grow up a bit with the 2023 TMNT. Not the 2023, 2003. That was 20 years ago. Hot damn. One of the, like, almost the second iteration, not counting the comics, like, one of the bigger, more serious takes on the Turtles is now 20 years old. Holy shit. Anyway. but, I have better memories and grew up even more so on the 2012 version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Ironically, bringing that back around. The 2012 version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And after hearing all the versions of the theme song online, 2012 nailed it. Okay? You gotta recognize 2012 Turtles had a banger theme. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, heroes in a half shell, turtle power. Here we go with the lean green ninja team. Born extreme doing. Get rocked with the cell shock, beat the team. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, whether or not there is an end of the world, you know, be like, that could be any day. It's not necessarily, it's not as special. It's not as special as you think it is sometimes. It could be whenever. So, it's better just to chill. That's my entire philosophy. A lot of the time, it's just like, most things will not get better because you're freaking out about it. Freaking out or being glum. So let's just chill out let's chill out and enjoy what we can. I would argue you'd have to be pretty certain about the end of the world if you're going to kind of start taking steps in preparing for it, you know what I mean? And to be fair, there are some people with like the bunkers and stuff. One of the science channels I watch, which did get in some hot water not too long ago, just because of certain things, but they still make some good content. Around like, here's the thing, the stuff they got in hot water for was like kind of, people sponsoring their videos, and they're like, hey, this should not be paid for content, but whatever. Because I'm talking about their physics videos, which have no bearing on that here or there. And one of them was talking about, like, if the Earth got thrown out the solar system, which is a possible scenario. Rogue planets are a thing. Gotcha. Have a good one, meat. I may just wrap up in a bit. This is not to get me to stay. You'd please go sleep. I was more going to say that, like, I might wrap up in a bit, and we'll see if I even raid anyone. There might not be anyone here to raid, and that's okay. It just means I don't. It just means I skip a step. It's chill. It happens. Oh yeah, it was talking about like throwing. Oh boy. About the Earth getting thrown out of the solar system. And, very, very apocalyptic scenario, but they were like, this is such a big event, we would see that coming from, like, a million, like, years in advance. We would have so long to get ready for it. And they're like, and it is completely possible that we would all be like, the world would be different. Things would be very different for us if we weren't in the solar system anymore. But it's not like the world would, it's not like we would just disappear. we would be able to get around it. So you know, a lot of so-called doomsdays, like, as long as they're not all of a sudden, like, it'll be fine. I mean, again, Y2K. Like, Y2K could have been a thing, but it wasn't. We didn't. Because we're like, oh, you're right, that could be something. Okay, we'll stop it. Like, just, just get better, forehead. Just be good, my guy. Stop freaking out about it. Sounds like a skill issue. As one of my very good friends would like to say. Skill issue. So, I'm actually going to make this pad, this shoulder pad, bigger. I mean, yeah. I don't know. I might still wear that. Is it weird to be like, because, you know, lurkers are appreciated in my stream, in most streams. But at the same time, sometimes I'm like, should I raid if I just have like a few lurkers in my chat? Because, you know, probably. But then again, what do I constitute as a few, you know? Could be a much needed pick-me-up for someone else who's streaming. So, okay. I think I'm gonna just kind of end it here. Speaking of, how about we see if there's someone to raid, you know? A friend, if you will. I had plenty of friends who deserve a good raid or another. So, even if there are just a few lurkers here, no shame in helping them out. How about we raid Shadow Mage? Because I appreciate Shadow Mage. He might actually be one of the lurkers. I wouldn't be surprised. I would be flattered, in fact. But a few of my friends in the past have been like, yeah, it's lurking, as I streamed. And I was like, who didn't have to? Help out the good old Schmage. Anyway, I appreciate y'all for coming. I hope anyone who is here will go come back tomorrow night, roughly same time, for a whole on Pokemon Nuzlocke, which is like, you know, a whole thing. And then we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'll see y'all then. Bye.